In the last video, I was given access to the rapture-ready evidence room, where I have now seen hard data that matches 9/11 and the Iraq War with prophecies in the book of Revelations and Ezekiel. I also read from Revelations chapter 13 about a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and 10 crowns on its horns. I know this is a metaphor, and I need to know what it means because it comes up again in the prophecies about 9/11 and the Iraq War. So I called Keanu back in to help me unpack this metaphor.
Keanu Reeves is here. I'll send him in.
I agree it's a metaphor because the Apostle John is quoting from the book of Daniel chapter 7, where Daniel sees a vision of 4 beasts. The first beast is a lion with the wings of an eagle. Daniel educates us that this beast describes King Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. The second beast he saw was a bear. It describes the Medo-Persian Empire, ruled by King Cyrus of Persia and Darius the Mede. The third beast is a leopard, and it had 4 wings on its back. It also had 4 heads. This beast describes Greece under Alexander the Great. When Alexander died, his commanding officers took over, and his kingdom was split into 4 parts. 3 of those kingdoms ruled over Jerusalem for a period of time: Ptolemaic Egypt, Seleucid Syria, and then Rome. So the 4 heads of the leopard were basically Greece, Egypt, Syria, and Rome. Now, to you and me, this is ancient history, but to Daniel, he saw all of this in a vision and wrote it into the Bible. We need to appreciate that. When the Apostle John wrote about the 7-headed beast, Rome was the prevailing empire. So each of the heads describes an empire, but not any random empire, an empire that at some point ruled over Jerusalem. So by the time John wrote Revelations, he already knew the identity of the first 6 heads of the beast. Now let's talk about the 7th head. All right, so in Revelations chapter 13, you read that one of the heads suffered a fatal wound, and that this wound was later healed, right? And that the beast would have a mouthpiece and authority to make war with the Jews for 1260 years. This is that 7th head. I think it's almost certain that the 1260 years in Revelations 13 is the same 1260 years that the 2 witnesses bore witness. And the First Reich lasted from 800 AD to 1800 AD, which is most of that whole period. So the First Reich was a part of the 7th head. I feel certain about that. That means we're really talking about the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay, so the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation, starting with Charlemagne in 800 AD, Emperor of the Romans, through to Francis II in 1806 AD. And that 1,000-year period was the First Reich. And this was also the period that Satan was thrown into the abyss, so that the Holy Roman Empire and the First Reich could be defeated, and therefore suffer its fatal wound. Okay, this is beginning to make a lot of sense.
Now, the mouthpiece of the Holy Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic Church say, was the papacy. So who was the Pope in 685 AD, which was the beginning of the 1260-year period?
Pope John V. Wait a minute, I need to make a file note about this. Pope John V, Bishop of Rome, starting in 685 AD. He was the first pope of the Byzantine papacy, consecrated without prior imperial consent. His papacy was marked by reconciliation between the city of Rome and the empire.
Meaning the Byzantine Empire, which was the Eastern Roman Empire. So Pope John V was elected as Pope in 685 AD. But here's the thing, he was the first Pope to be elected independent of the Emperor. So in 685 AD, the papacy became an independent power. Secondly, he reconciled Rome with the Empire. Then in 800 AD, Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne as emperor, and now we're into the Holy Roman Empire. So we have hard data that matches the 7th head of the beast to the Holy Roman Empire, with the papacy being its mouthpiece. So where does the Dome of the Rock fit into all this? The Muslims had been in control of Jerusalem since 638 AD. So they are also a part of the 7th head. In fact, Revelations chapter 13 specifically speaks about 10 horns with 10 crowns. My best guess is they are 10 Islamic dynasties.
So the 7th head of the beast describes the Holy Roman Empire and the 10 Islamic dynasties as its horns. The mouthpiece is the papacy, which became an independent power in 685 AD, which matches the beginning of the 1260 years. So then the metaphor describes the seventh head suffering a fatal wound. So what makes sense to me is that it matches up with the Holy Roman Empire and the First Reich being dissolved in 1806 by Napoleon, right? So Satan was incarcerated for 1,000 years, which was how long it took for the First Reich to be dissolved. After the 1,000 years, so after 1806 AD, Satan gets released, discovers that his beast is now dead. Then Revelations 13 talks about a second beast that rises from the earth. And Satan says,
"You want more? It's on."
all right, I can now identify this second beast.
I see where you're headed, and I'm with you 100%. Without knowing the identity of the beast, its 7 heads and 10 horns, we would not be able to unlock the prophecies about 9/11 and the Iraq War. Nicely done. All right, I'll get back to work on matching Ezekiel chapter 39 with the 8 data points we have from 9/11 and the Iraq War.
And I'll confirm the identity of this second beast, and so I can put Revelations chapter 13 behind me. Then I'll be more equipped to explain the 9/11 and Iraq War prophecies. All right, let's keep going.